Welcome to the Nebraska Prep Zone podcast. I'm Stu Pospisil. Mike Patterson, as always, along for the show. And Mike, we're going to talk a little bit about the first weekend that was and kind of how our number one teams fared.
Right. Haven't played too many games yet, but we've already had an upset or two. So a little bit of interesting developments that we'll chat about here in just a little bit.
Okay. Well, on the boys' side, Mike, all 6 of my preseason number ones still perfect. So Bellevue West looked really good Saturday night against Papillion-La Vista South, 86-58, Thunderbird win, a lot of threes made. They look to be the class of Class A this year. In Class B, Omaha Skutt had a good tussle with Elkhorn North. I think you were finishing up your story that night, or you went on to hockey, but yeah, Skutt pulled that one out. They're staying at 1-0. They go out west this week for a couple games. Wahoo, I saw them last Thursday in their opener against Bennington. Did a number on the Badgers, pulled away there, and then the next night against Aurora, also highly ranked in C1. Warriors maybe took advantage of some rust that Aurora might have had from, again, they were playing 2 teams that had played in state football finals. Right. It's going to take a little time for those kids to get their basketball legs.
Yep, we've seen that before, and to a lesser degree, you see it in volleyball and basketball and girls too, but it does take a little bit of time to work into that basketball shape.
Certainly. Our other 3 number one teams, Freeman in C2, North Platte St. Pat's in D1, and Lincoln Parkview in D2. All emerged with a clean slate.
I cannot say the same thing for my preseason number ones. So,
can we save these for? Can we save the upsets for March?
No, I'd rather get them out of the way in November and early
Our
December.
little personal competition here.
That's right. So, let's take a quick look at the girls so far, Stu. Our overall number one, Millard South, number one in Class A. The Patriots are off to a really nice 3-0 start. They've got a game on Saturday against Papio South, and the Titans are also undefeated, so I plan on being there early Saturday afternoon for that one. But yes, the Patriots are one of my preseason number one teams that
survived the first week.
That's right. Can't say the same about Elkhorn North. The Wolves, 2-time defending champions in Class B, were defeated at Skutt Friday night. I was out there.
Kind of a low-scoring game, wasn't it?
I was out there for that one, and yeah, it was, which kind of played into the hands of Skutt.
Okay.
The Wolves a lot more freewheeling with Britt Prince leading the way. I think she had either 18 or
18,
20.
I think.
So a little under her average of 24 from last year. She was held to 1 in the first quarter, which you don't see that very often.
No.
But yeah, props to Kip Colony and his Skyhawks for getting that early season win. And really, I think Elkhorn North and Skutt are the top 2 in Class B either way.
Sure.
So we'll see how that develops the rest of the season. In Class C1, a little bit of a surprise. North Bend, another defending champ, multiple time. North Bend was defeated by Wahoo Newman. They have a new coach out there now. So Jason Simons has moved on to Omaha Westview. So Wahoo Newman, congrats to them for that early season victory over the Tigers. Class C2, Oakland Craig 3-0, so that's a good start for them. Class D1, Hardington Cedar Catholic, which won the volleyball championship, as we know. They're off to a nice 2-0 start, our number one team in D1. And Class D2, another team another school that had a great volleyball season, Shelton, they are 2-0. So couple of upsets there, most notably Skutt over Elkhorn North. Probably a mild upset, I guess. Like I said, those are the top 2 in Class B. Looking at the overall top 10, number 2, Lincoln High was defeated by Bellevue East. Maya Scoff, we've talked about her before. So Bellevue East got that early season win. And one other notable game I probably should mention, Stu, and I was at this one, was Millard North.
I was going to ask you about this
Just really putting it on host Fremont, the defending Class A champion. Of course, Fremont doesn't have Taylor McCabe. She graduated and moved on to Iowa. They had some other losses on their team, but Millard North just really looked good that night. I think one thing that the Mustangs have going for them is depth. They really go deep into their 15-player roster, and it was 50-9 at halftime. That just doesn't happen to a Kelly Flynn coach team.
I saw that on Twitter or my text, one of those two.
Right, but I think the Tigers might have had. I think Kelly told me their point guard is hurt right now, so when she comes back, they'll be more competitive, I'm sure, and he's obviously hoping for better things as the season progresses. But the Mustangs, who we started at number 4 in the overall top 10, definitely a team to watch.
Well, and Fremont bounced back and beat Elkhorn South 2 nights later, right?
Saw that, so kind of tough to come back from a big loss like that, but Fremont regrouped and got that win.
Sounds like they're a middle of a pack team this year. So
right, I started them at number 10 in Class A. More of a nod to how they did last year, and we'll see how they do this year. But like I said, that's one of the storylines. We'll see how Kelly does with that young team out in Fremont.
Okay, well, we had some 14 tournaments on the boys' side as well, and last week, besides Bellevue West, Gretna beat Lincoln Northeast in overtime. That's my number 2 team. Lincoln East prevailed in a tournament that had Southeast and West Side in it. And maybe the shocker of the week was Lincoln North Star beating Omaha Creighton Prep in the Hyder Center on Saturday night. Good 2-0 start for North Star with some height, which I think Prep maybe potentially lacks. I haven't seen Prep. Their Christmas in the Cage game is a week from Saturday, so might be there for that. But big matchup this week appears to be Lincoln East hosting Omaha Central. Central won the OPS Jamboree on Monday night, beating host Omaha Burke with only one starter returning for Central. But the Chubbucks, Bruce Jr., Bruce Sr. Bruce Jr. is the head coach, role reversal. They're a coaching team, let's be honest. I mean, Bruce Seniors is up as much as Bruce Jr., but Bruce is getting the coaching stipend from OPS. So
a new era there at Central, and we should mention that Central also won the girls' portion of that OPS tournament. North may be a little bit of an unexpected finalist there, so the Vikings might have a pretty competitive team this year, but the Eagles look good, both boys and girls.
Well, North is so young. They don't have a senior on the roster, and Ayanna Hill, freshman, 22 points against Central that night. So I think she's one on the up-and-comer list for you.
That's a nice early season effort there.
So we'll be back next week to recap and look ahead. And for Mike Patterson, I'm Stu Pospisil, and thanks for watching the Nebraska Prep Zone podcast.